All right. Um, there's a RGW pull request here to remove a data copy. Eric. There's the double caching one. That's going to be based on top of what you're merging now, Mark, right?
So that was the plan. Brett had mentioned maybe wanting to have that backported to Nautilus. And I don't know if we're going to backport the whole thing or not. So we have to, I don't know if we need to talk about it again or not. But
I think we should backport it. We should let it bake in master for a little bit, but we should backport it
okay.
because it's a pretty significant speed up.
So
Your
the only
current
thing
one, you
there,
mean? Yeah.
yeah. So the only thing there then is that since it's an on-disk format change, people will have
Uh,
to
oh,
reinstall their OSDs if they want
no,
the
hold on.
benefit.
I'm confused then. Which the current pull request is just changing the trim behavior, right? There's no on disk
Yeah.
format
Oh,
change.
there's two outstanding pull requests. There's one that redoes the cache, or sorry, is the one that does the trim change and then also splits the O nodes and the buffers out. There's another
Yeah.
PR that avoids double caching O nodes in the RocksDB block cache. And that one is the one that requires an on-disk format change that is based on top
Oh,
of Adam's, theoretically based on top of Adam's thing, but it applies to master right now in its current
it's
form.
on top of the sharding. Ah,
Well, it could be. We were,
right.
because it
Okay.
required an on-disk format change, we were thinking, well, let's do them both at once. But if we want to backport it, then we have to, I don't know, we'll have to talk about it more maybe.
Right.
I think we're
Okay.
planning on backporting the sharding too, so if they're both on top of each other, you do one format change and one migration.
Yeah. I mean, the format change is an optional thing, right? You can still start up a boost or OST, they just won't shard.
Yeah, that's true for the sharding.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, with mine, you could theoretically just have it only do what my code does if you have the O nodes in a separate column family. And if they're not, then just have one
Do nothing. Yeah.
cache like
I
normal.
think that would be the thing. I mean, it needs to be a optional thing where you either do a blue store tool repair to do a conversion, or you
Yeah.
reprovision the OSD.
And that was the original plan, was just to do an upgrade with the same, like Adam was going to tie it into his thing that
Yeah.
does an upgrade, but
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
All right. But I think the biggest question here is really about sharding. We need to be really careful there. If we backport it, then we need to do it in a way that it's probably off by default and is seamless for existing OSDs if the code's just not active or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Adam's migration tool just operates on the database alone, but it doesn't actually take that long to
Cool.
migrate. It's pretty nice.
Okay. Cool.
So my changes are a lot less scary, since basically all it is if there, it could be if all there is O nodes in another column family, we just have two block caches instead of one. That's more or less the gist of it.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Whether or not we want it enabled for the backport thing kind of depends on how important performance is to us there. It's a kind of a sizable performance improvement, like 10%, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe more in some cases.
Okay. All right. There's also this blue store one that just reduces wake ups. Pretty trivial. Needs to be tested. OMAP testing. I'm not familiar with that one. There's one that turns on the PG autoscaler always for Octopus that's merged. So the RocksDB pull request did merge. The build issue with the standard or whatever zlib was fixed.
Yep. We had to apply a cherry picked commit from master RocksDB on top of their version. But
so
once,
the plan,
once the new next version.
The plan to
go ahead.
let that sit in master for a little bit and then backport that to Nautilus as well, right?
Yep. I think so.
Okay.
We don't
All right.
need it for like doing two compaction threads. We can backport that independently, but it fixes a bunch of stuff, so we might want it.
Didn't we want it for the read ahead? No, that already worked. What did we need it for?
Um, the Casey's thing, the I call it.
Range deletes.
Yes.
Ah,
There we
yes,
go.
yes. Oh, well, so we should turn that on in master too, then, right? I can do that right now.
Don't we need Casey's PR?
Well,
Or am I?
So my really old PR for log trimming, that's what you're talking about?
That might be what I'm thinking of, and
no,
I might be conflating it with
that
what
might be
Sage was
something else.
talking about.
I thought there was an option in the RocksDB code that enabled or disabled a range delete.
And that code path is triggered on object deletion, so it's definitely worth using.
Yeah. Enable
And
arm
then
range.
my old PR just hooks that up to CLS for CLS log trim.
Right. Okay.
Sage, how long do you want to let that bacon master?
The RocksDB.
Yeah.
I mean, what I would really like is for the backport to Nautilus to make the next Nautilus point release. But that's like 4 or 5 weeks away. So hopefully that's enough time.
I was also hoping that we'd be able to upgrade to the next version of RocksDB within this like window, so that we could like not cherry pick that commit on top of it. But you know, it's okay if we have to. I think.
Yeah, it just means we don't have as much testing on one particular version.
Yeah, I know.
We have to pick one or the other. Right. Okay,
And I
well,
don't know when the next version is coming out.
here's the other pull request that we want to merge. That just
Cool.
enables us to turn it on. Alt. Or okay. What else? The sharding stuff. Oh, this is just one of the pieces of it. OFS reads, this one's closed. Allocator closed. Yep. Okay. All right. None of these are really worth talking about right now. Oh, what's on the agenda? Not yet. Nothing yet. Should we talk about what the plan is for all the RocksDB and Blue store backports?
Yeah, sure.
Josh?
Yeah, which aspects are you thinking of?
Just so I can get it straight in my head. So master is now .1.2, which adds arm range Nautilus. So the first thing we wanted for Nautilus was we wanted the read ahead. That been backported already?
Yes, there's already a PR for backporting that from Igor, I think.
Oh, right. There's a back. Right.
We're doing it in two separate ways, right? There's like the RocksDB like auto read ahead stuff that they have, and there's Igor's stuff.
I thought Igor's thing just like turned it on, but maybe I miss.
I thought he also had
Oh.
something else where he was doing like read ahead within Blue Store itself.
there was that, but that was a workaround if RocksDB didn't have it. So I think his is iterator read ahead, and it basically just adjusts BlueFS so that it works. It sort of allows the existing RocksDB functionality to actually do what it's supposed to do.
So one of the things that we were missing was the RocksDB like auto tune or like auto self tuning iterator read ahead. That was at one point one of the things that we were missing. See if I can pull that up.
Okay, so the hope is for 14.2.3, we'll have read ahead and arm range due to the 612.
So yeah, that was introduced in 5.15, and I think on Nautilus we're on 5.17 or 5.18. So I think we do have auto iterator read ahead.
Yeah, right. But we do want 612 for the arm range.
Yep.
Assuming we have time to let that make sure that is working right in master.
Yep.
Okay. But we also want that read ahead stuff in Luminous, right? Because we have users who are seeing the slow startup times and getting OSD timeouts after deleting whole PGs of objects and so on, right?
Yes. Even without deletes, I think.
What about the OMAP tail? Has that been? I can't remember if that part was backported because that's the other piece that helps with that iteration weirdness.
Yeah, I don't remember if that was backported or not. Maybe Nautilus.
Here, there's a Nautilus backport open. Okay. Map tail. So that also needs to get tested. It's already flagged. It's in its current testing branch. So I think that's good. So should we backport that OMAP tail thing to mimic and is it? Let me look at the.
It's like a pretty small change, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty safe. I think it's like.
Yeah, that seems like it's worth trying to backport to mimic and Nautilus by mimicking Luminous.
This is the to-do, so we have to do that. And then if we wanted to update, so I think the question is then if we want to update RocksDB in Mimic and Nautilus in order to fix the iterator problem, do we move to the version that's in Nautilus right now? Or do we go to this even further forward one that does the arm range?
There are a couple of bug fixes in the new one that are related to like corruption and deadlocks. Whether or not we hit any of those, I don't know. But we have seen some mysterious RocksDB corruption in the past. Depends on if you're more scared of that or more scared of new code.
Yeah, I'm scared because we're so late in the Luminous cycle. We need to be really careful.
Yeah.
So does the prefetching already work with the existing RocksDB and Luminous?
I believe not. I believe it doesn't. I think it depends on having a version like the Nautilus version, 5.9, whatever, and the patch. Well, just that will make compaction better, and then the patch to BlueFS from Igor will make the iteration better.
I'm confused. I'm confused why just using the auto read ahead for iterator in RocksDB wasn't enough.
I don't remember what it was. Let me see. Let me look at the pull request. It's I think there was just something in the BlueFS glue that had to be updated to like tie the right function together. Yeah, support RxDB prefetch. This is the pull request in the chat here. RxDB needs the prefetch method implementation in order to perform read ahead for buffered reads. So for maybe for direct reads, that's not the case. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, it has a prefetch call we have to implement that just does a read.
Okay. But for compaction read ahead, we should already be doing that pretty well.
I don't remember.
That we set just a default like 2 megabyte read ahead for compaction back like a year or 2 ago, 2 years ago probably.
Right. Okay.
And that that was a huge improvement when we did that, because the SST files are big, right? So it's just
probably just it must be implemented in a different place in the compaction code as opposed to this, which is needed by iterator, is my guess.
Yeah, it's I think a different path.
The other thing that needs the newer RxDB, if you wanted to backport it further than Nautilus, is the compaction threads equals 2. As Mark, you mentioned, there's a bug fix.
Yeah, there were. Sorry, go ahead.
That was it.
Oh, there's a bug fix. So we need newer RxDB in order to do multiple compaction threads.
Theoretically. Yeah. I mean, it looks that way to me. If you want to take a look and see if you think otherwise, I just.
Do we need the 5.9 version or the 6.1 version?
It's like 6.0, so I think we need 6.1.
All right. But the compaction threads 2 isn't hugely important, right?
No, I was wrong about that. The Nautilus version is fine.
Okay.
So we could potentially update the Luminous to the Nautilus version at 5.9 and update Nautilus to 6.1 too.
Yeah, that's kind of what the Nautilus version. The Nautilus version, I think, is 5.18 though, not 5.9, if I remember right.
You know what? So Luminous is currently 5.9 something. Do you know?
I don't remember what Luminous is, but let me quick look at the Nautilus version, because that's the one I want to make sure we have right. Branch. 5.17.2 is what we have for Nautilus. And for Luminous, Luminous might just be some random commit that we based off of.
Yeah, it's random commit post, but it's after 5.9 something, right?
Yeah, it might be. Let me go back and look.
Let's just do it. Mimic is too. We have to, anything that we do to Luminous has to go through Mimic.
Yeah. So, I mean, how confident are we about Nautilus's RocksDB at this point? I mean, do we feel pretty good about it? Been used for a while, right?
Yeah, I feel okay about it. It's been in master for a long time, and it's been out in the wild for.
Then, yeah, I mean, that would at least get us the read ahead, the iterator auto tuning read ahead thing. Whether or not we also want delete range, I guess, is the other question. How much do you think delete range will help?
I think it'll make a huge difference for big OMAP objects. Right now, every time you delete a big OMAP object, you generate this like ridiculously huge transaction, and the arm range basically makes that all go away.
Is that
Um,
enough of a win on Luminous to?
I, I don't know. I mean, my hope is that by the time people get to Nautilus, they like won't have these objects anymore. So. But who knows? We're backporting all the monitoring stuff to Luminous to like identify these big OMAP objects. All
Those
the
were.
fixes.
Did we only get those with like uncharted bucket indexes? Was that kind of the
And
primary?
there were a couple other bugs in RGW also, like the log object was creating big items, and there's something else too. I can't remember. I mean, it's happened in a couple different places, but I think we've washed everything that we know about.
Did those squashes? Was that? Are they in Luminous too, or is that like only in
I
mirror
think
code?
I think so. Is that right, Casey?
Uh, are you referring to like multi-site log trimming stuff that cleans up log objects, or
Yeah, I just
something
have vague
else?
recollections of RGW objects that had big OMAP. But yeah, I think it was multi-site log was one. There was also like a garbage collection one or something. I can't remember what it was. There's some other random one that was surprising. It's like an error log object maybe, like
Yeah,
4 or 5
as far
months
as
ago.
I know, all the fixes there have been backported all the way.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. At range. Anyway, okay. Well, that seems like a reasonable plan to me. That's the more conservative path as opposed to the latest and greatest. I wonder if there's a 517.3 or something, or
There are a couple of intermediate ones.
like within that stable, like a stable series or something like that. I don't know. I don't know exactly how they
Uh,
do the versioning, but like 517.3 or 4 or whatever would be like only safe fixes or something like that.
the release history has posted it in the window. So I mean, there's like a 518.3 that is a bug fix for an LSM corruption issue with range deletions and subcompactions are used.
Sorry, 517.2. Oh, I see 517.2.
Oh, sorry, yeah, we're on 517, not 518. Sorry. That was the last in the 517.
Yeah. Okay. I stick with that then. Not compactions equals 2. Pre. Is that right? No. Compactions are okay.
Sorry,
The
what was it,
compactions
Fitch?
equals 2. What was the dependence on the compactions 2? There was a bug. We needed a
Oh,
minimum
yeah.
version for that, right?
Yeah, there's a specific commit that I had checked that we don't have in Luminous or Mimix RocksDB.
But is in 517.2.
Yes.
Is the compactions 2, is that the type of thing that we should consider backporting?
I think that it would be worthwhile backporting it to Nautilus at least. Whether or not you want to backport it to Luminous is, you know,
Okay. If we don't have to, then. If we don't have a strong reason to, I'd rather not.
it's like a 50% performance increase for like continuous 4K OMAP writes, and probably more for smaller OMAP writes. It does make compactions take longer, but because you have concurrent compactions, you don't block as much in the client side because you don't wait for like a one
Yeah.
compaction to have to finish before you can can start another one in some situations.
Okay.
It did not do anything to really improve just like a Rados bench or an RBD workload. It's probably only really relevant when you have primarily OMAP heavy writes.
Okay.
Also, it may not help if we were to switch to like TRocksDB, because the thing that really seems to hurt us is the amount of write amp that we see with like anything going into RocksDB with a big database.
I think T-Rox is off the table for
Okay.
short term. So.
Okay.
All right.
Sage, the other, no, I don't know if we've gotten this list or not, but the one I definitely do want to backport from my stuff is this one. I don't know if that was in our list yet. That's the one that doesn't actually like change the ondisk format at all. That's just changing our caches.
Right. Yep.
That's a big enough of a win that we should at least backport
so.
it to Nautilus.
At least to Nautilus, yeah. I get a little bit nervous about going further back than that because it's yeah, a pretty big bump for. Yeah, I guess it's a big change. I'd be inclined to only go to Nautilus, but I think this can wait. That there's not a rush to backport it.
Okay.
Like I don't think it needs to be in .3, for example.
Yeah, I think the if we could get it into whatever we need for like our downstream stuff at some point, right?
Yeah. Yep. But I mean, even then, it like doesn't have to be in .3. It can be in .4.
Okay.
And the same is probably true for sharding. That doesn't have to be in .3. That can come in .4 too.
Yeah, I don't actually know what's based on .3 and what's based on .4, so I'll leave it to you.
Yeah.
At least the good news with that one is it's transparent, right? You don't actually have to change anything. It doesn't change any state or anything.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that should go sooner. Well, let's merge it and let it bake for a week, and then we can decide.
Yeah, that sounds
when
good.
exactly we do this stuff.
My QA run is very slowly finishing. Just gotta get through the last like couple jobs.
Stragglers. Yeah. The stragglers.
What was that?
It's always the stragglers that waiting.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Anything else we should go over, or we call it for today? Like we lost Josh.
Yeah, I hate to run.
All right. Well, I just opened up that PR that turns on the Rocksby stuff I'll catch that in my next QA run. And hopefully your cache thing will merge here shortly. As far as
Yeah.
what's in master and what we need to work on immediately, I think we have everything else. Okay.
Mhm.
Wow. Sharding
One,
is the next big one.
yeah. So one thing I did want to ask you about quick, Neha had mentioned setting the BlueStorm min Alex size to the BlueFS Alex
Yeah.
size.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we
we
just
can
need to do
test
a little
that
testing.
certainly.
Yep.
Yeah, that's easy enough. What are you hoping to get out of it?
When the main device is fragmented enough that we can't find big chunks to give to BlueFS, BlueFS won't fail space. That's the problem right now.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the user has fragmented OSDs and then BlueFS is out of space, but there's space left. It's just in smaller chunks.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So this is
it's just silly. It should be
sure.
simple. Cool. Okay. Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Thanks, everyone.
See you
Take care.
guys.